Joining us now from Surrey is Bob Milton. He's the former chair of the UK Border Agency. Mr Milton, thank you for being with us. I saw you nodding there when the comment was being made about not knowing who's coming in or out of the country. Given passports and visas, how can that be?
Well, it's a failure of the IT systems. I mean, e-Borders was meant to solve all this, but we know that went astray. We have no way of checking who's coming in, and more importantly, no way of checking who's going out. Now, in this modern world, when we have millions of people coming across our borders, we need to have more effective systems than we've got at the moment. We need to use technology for us, not against us.
But everybody queues up when they come in to an airport. They have their passport checked. People look at their visas. Are you saying that process is a waste of time?
Well, it should happen much earlier. When they apply to come to the UK, when they're buying their tickets, that's when we should start checking on them. And we should use e-visas, electronic visas, to give them authority to come. By trying to deal with them actually at the border control itself, we just get long delays and nobody wins.
What about the process when someone comes into the country and applies for asylum? Why does that take years and years to process?
Well, Adam, I think nobody in the UK would object to a genuine asylum seeker seeking refuge in the UK. But the problem is there are people that abuse the system. So when people arrive, there needs to be very rigorous checks to make sure they are genuine. At the moment, it seems to take far, far too long. And one of the problems is people not cooperating, being obstructive. And in my view, if you're obstructing the investigation, then your application should end. You shouldn't continue. And particularly if you've arrived in this country illegally, why then can you be allowed to apply for asylum? If you've arrived illegally, you should not be allowed to do that.
Well, of course, there's that fear, as we're seeing, for example, with the people crossing the Mediterranean into Italy, who often come to Britain through Calais, that there is a genuine fear that they had no alternative but to run away and, as you say, come into the country illegally.
Yeah, and you raise an interesting point here about the European Union. The European Union used to work together here. There is an agreement that was signed in Dublin that says the first safe European Union country should deal with the problem. It shouldn't be passed on to other countries, and particularly the UK seems to be at the end of the line to this. But of course, if they have a genuine concern about their safety, about being persecuted, we should reach out to them and we should support them. And we're not being fair to them. We're not good at tracking down the people who are abusing the system, and we're certainly not being fair to the people of the UK who have no confidence in the border control.
And what about someone who does go through the process of applying for asylum and then is told that they haven't met the criteria? Do those people automatically leave the country?
Well, it's quite right there should be an appeal process, but perhaps that appeal process should be much shorter than it is at the moment. What we're finding is, sadly, that people are being advised to appeal, to delay, to be obstructive, to stay in the country as long as they possibly can. And what then happens is it's very difficult to remove them. If they've been in the country for 4 or 5 years, it's very hard to remove them if it's found that they are not genuine asylum seekers. So the whole system is creaking here because of people who are abusing the system. We need to be much sharper, and perhaps the time has come for the Immigration Service to look again at how it deals with this. Fast-track those people that are genuine, and those that are not, let's have a vigorous, robust, early, quick investigation, and if they're not right, let's remove them as quickly as possible.
Finally, Mr Milton, I know you've moved on now from chairing the UK Border Agency, but the message this government is giving out, we heard it from the Prime Minister at Question Time today, is yes, the situation is difficult, not satisfactory, but this government claims it's got better in recent years. Is there any truth in that?
Well, I was interested to read that the Immigration Service said that there are 80% of passengers go through exit checks, because exit checks are vital in knowing who's still remaining in this country. Well, I've travelled through Heathrow at least a dozen times in the last few months, and I've never gone through an exit check. I don't know where these exit checks are. We need to have an IT system that's capable of monitoring people coming in and leaving. And those that are overstaying should be tracked down and we should be dealt with. We have no idea about people who are overstaying this country. We have no idea where failed asylum seekers are, and that cannot be right.